Court Reporter with Stovall and Associates.
Hello and welcome back to Court Reporter with Stovall and Associates. I'm your host, Michael Salbeck, and we've been talking today with Robin Duran Rudolf, which is a deputy for public administrator and running for the public administrator of Nye County. Now, Nye County is a big county. So what all do you cover?
Mostly I am based in Pahrump, but we travel also to Lathrop Wells, to Amargosa, to Beatty, to Tonopah, to Goldfield, to Round Mountain. As wherever it is in the county, that's where we go.
That's where you go. Now, how many deputies do you have for that area?
We have 3 in our main office. We have an additional young man that only does first calls at night. And
What's first calls?
First call is when the sheriff's office calls to inform us that a death has occurred and they need our services.
Okay. And then they call you, so you got a gentleman that just does that.
And that's only in the night. I mean, it's almost impossible to work 8, 9, 10 hours a day all day and then run all night and start all over.
So that guy just works the nighttime first calls.
Pretty much.
So you got a decent little staff then.
Indeed, we do.
And are they only the public administrator is an elected position? The rest of them are all hired in, is that correct?
Appointed.
Appointed.
Right.
And who are they appointed by?
They are appointed by the public administrator.
By the public administrator, okay.
And we all take an oath of office to serve and to follow the rules and be a deputy or an assistant to Falcon Finlayson.
Okay, and not to put you on the spot here, but who does Falcon answer to?
Falcon answers to the people that elected him to office.
Okay.
And he also answers to the court. There are rules and regulations and NRSs and statutes that must be followed.
Okay. And you said you get your calls from Nye County, usually, the sheriff's department.
Always.
So obviously you guys must have a great working relationship with them. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I think we have a great working relationship with them. They are always the first ones at the scene of any death. And usually we are the second, and probably the funeral home is the third group of people that arrive at any scene. And it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You never know when the appointed hour is, but when it does happen, you get up, you suit up, and you hit the road.
And you hit the road. Wow. Now, it sounds like a very tough job. Probably, honestly, not a job that I would want. What made you decide to run for office and to be a public deputy for 8 years?
Well, I think I told you earlier that I've been in the death care industry for over 15 years, and this is just another part of it. In prior years, I dealt with the bodies of the deceased persons, and now I'm basically dealing with the assets of the deceased person. But that relationship that you establish between the surviving family members it's based on an understanding of the emotional issues that they have. And I think that is one of my strong points, is being able to speak to the individual families. And usually when a death occurs, there are assets that belong to individual family members. I try to help counsel them and guide them on how to claim the things that they are entitled to.
So in a way, it could be almost an awarding job as well. You're doing some good, not just dealing with the ugly of it. There's actually another side of it that I'm starting to see, that where you could actually be there to help the family through these hard times.
And that's important, to have someone that you can talk to.
Absolutely. Well, what happens if you can't find a family member?
That does happen every now and then, but it's very rare. And when there is an estate that does have some value, the probate process is basically the same. And at the end, when there are assets left, those dollars are turned over to the state of Nevada, to the unclaimed property, and they have an area where they keep the funds that belong to heirs that have not been found. And those heirs have 6 years to claim those assets.
Oh, okay. They basically, the state puts it in a trust account per se.
Exactly.
And then the family's got up to 6 years.
That's correct.
But it doesn't happen very often.
No, it does not.
I'll tell you what, I was listening to you earlier. You were saying as you guys go in and you photograph and you take video cameras and you make sure, because I'm sure sometimes you walk into cash money, like you said, weapons, jewelries. What protects you from anybody trying to say you did the wrong?
We try to run with at least 2 people so that I have someone in my office to verify and validate what I've done.
Okay.
In addition to that, there's always a sheriff's deputy there when we arrive.
Wonderful.
And together, we put together an inventory. If I have weapons and I don't even know how to shoot one, let alone to unload it to make sure there's no bullets in it, the deputies are happy to unload it to make sure the gun is safe to transport. If we find an unusually large amount of cash, then we sit down and we count it out on the table, take a picture of it, and then all of the deputies sign the inventory form.
Okay.
And that, it's just another safeguard.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of safeguards in place, it sounds like, to keep everybody honest and doing the right thing.
Well, you know, we make progress every day. And every year we learn something that we can do better. And now having gun safes, having enough people so that there's at least 2 on scene at any time makes a difference. Having proper storage facilities is very, very important. And it's just these last couple of years where we had a little single wide trailer that we were working out of. And now we have a very nice building with a handicapped ramp, storage facilities. We have a place where we can wash our hands.
Not to cut you short, but we have to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back to hear more about that facility.
Court Reporter with Stovall and Associates.